Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the TheKnitGirlls. This is episode 438. I'm Laura, also known as Leslie. Oh my gosh!
You have no excuse.
I do have an excuse. I just woke up from a 2-hour nap.
Oh.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala. I did get called Leslie a lot this weekend, though.
We're very similar.
We are. I mean, legit we are. We could be almost the same person.
I'm Leslie.
Are you?
Also
are you
known
sure?
as You Don't Call Me Les. We're like super behind schedule in recording because life has just like kicked us in the teeth
in the face
this past week. I just came off on call, and in the past 48 hours, I've had 7 total hours of sleep. Total. So.
And I've had lots of sleep, but
you
no
also
sanity.
have to get up at like 6 a.m. every day, which is just rude.
I had to get up at 5, but
Oh.
yeah. I had to be at work by 6:30.
So anyway, I apologize in advance for any complete insanity that you experienced during this episode.
It's probably going to happen. Well, it already has started.
I'm going to start.
I was told I couldn't go first.
Because reasons. So.
And Leslie and I have not seen each other in a week.
Yeah, that's true.
A whole week. And really haven't talked because you've been on call. And
Yeah.
I've been out of town and testing. I'm not allowed to have a phone for 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
So
She gets like a 10-minute break during the day where she can text.
and Leslie knows exactly when that is.
But she usually uses it for things like bathroom breaks or eating.
That's true.
Anyway, so I'm going to go first because reasons. So
I cannot wait.
I'm knitting this Sakasama jacket.
Yeah, it's all garter, right?
It's all stockinette,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
the
knit
opposite
in
of
that
garter.
rayon viscose
Habooey thing?
habu textile, and it's not a super complicated construction. So basically, you knit.
I love schematics.
You cast on, and then you knit a ways, then you do some gentle increases, and then you do some gentle decreases, and then you knit, right?
Oh.
So it's a symmetrical item.
Cute.
And then you fold the 2 edges together.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
And after you fold these 2 edges together and you seam like, I don't know, X number of inches, 3 inches, 5 inches, whatever it is, then you pick up around and you do a border so that you have like a flappy sort of flowy thing.
And you were almost done with, you'd done the gentle increases.
Yeah, I was on the decreases last week. So it's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
Yeah.
So I finished the body, and then I picked up for the band. What step did I miss, people? I missed seaming and folding.
I knew exactly where that was going.
I actually picked up stitches on all these sides.
Oh, that you didn't need.
Which I didn't need, and I actually have over 500 stitches on the needles, and
So how far in did you discover your
I
error?
discovered this when I was packing this up to come upstairs to record.
Oh.
So
how much did you get done?
Oh,
crud.
like an inch, a little over an inch.
That's a lot.
500 stitches. You bet your sweet butt it is.
On small needles for you.
So yeah. So while Laura is going to probably talk about progress that she made this week.
You made progress. Stop being so dorkish.
Like 3 steps forward and 2 steps back this week.
Well, that happens. Did you knit on anything else, or was that the only thing?
I finished a hat, which I can talk quickly about so that you can finish your row.
Or you can, yeah, sure.
If
Because you promised me it would be a whole
That's
row
true.
of a story, and you were not delivering.
I'm sorry, I did not milk this for all that it was worth. But
and you're holding 2 threads together,
Yeah.
so that's going to be super fun to rip out.
Yeah. That was another thing. I had to wind the other 2 skeins at your house. I puppy sat this weekend, and I actually I put them on the skein, and then I set them up so they would pull together.
You put them on the Swift?
The Swift, yeah, sorry. And then I sat on your couch and just pulled all the way from your living room.
Oh.
So that I could watch TV.
That's a ways.
Because it took like 45 minutes.
I really need to replace my living room TV and move that into the knit room.
Yeah.
And place, things to think about.
So I'll show you quickly what I finished.
Yeah, I want to see.
So this is something I haven't touched in like a month.
Oh, it's that hat by Hunter Emerson, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's this Constellate hat by Hunter Emerson.
I'm so glad you didn't save that for Stash Stash.
I basically just needed to finish something small because for my own sanity, not for some arbitrary goal or whatever.
It's good to get things off the needles, too.
And to take a break from things that are frustrating you. So, I used Tosh Merino Light, and this is in the Bluebonnet Highway colorway, which I think was a special that they only sold in their shop in Texas. I believe that it was a gift from a lovely person at SSK. This is the colorway.
You got a good bit left over.
I do.
Probably get in like a fade or something.
And this is the hat. So
super cute.
I was maybe here, somewhere around there. So I knit another 4 or so inches of this dip stitch pattern, which is not the fastest thing to knit, but it is a nice deep hat. It's meant to be worn so that you can wear the brim turned up. I got a nice end there. I got 2 nice ends there.
Leave them in.
So that you can wear it with the brim turned up and it's still deep enough.
Yeah, cute. Or can you make it slouchy if you leave the brim down? Well,
is this the best I've ever looked? That's my hair. So yeah, you can,
it doesn't do slouchy as well.
it's because I think it's because of the texture of the stitch.
Yeah,
like it's so.
Just gonna grab you by your hair,
like a caveman. But that's my hat.
I'm sorry for grabbing you by your hair. I am.
She's sorry that it's on video.
No, that's not true. I don't put my hands on other people. That was a very teacher thing to say.
I knit this while watching The Crown on Netflix.
Oh, how was that? I haven't started that
It's
yet.
okay. I mean, I think if you're interested in British history, it's probably...
The royal family.
Yeah, it's probably something that you would find very entertaining. I only got like 3 episodes in, and then I was like, nah, I just don't care enough. But,
Hey, Nailed It comes back next week.
That's awesome.
I know.
I feel like I had something in my hair. I just took a shower, so I'm sorry for the absolute stunningness that is my hair. But I figured messy hair is probably better than dirty on camera, recorded for all of posterity. But yeah, so I got this finished after I rip out all the stitches that I did not need to knit. There's no way to like remediate it. I have to pull everything out from the band. But on the plus side, there will be far fewer stitches when I pick up the band. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, the pattern's very clear. I just read it while I was on call and sleep deprived and shouldn't have done that. I should know going forward that from now on, I should always just have a sock or something on the needles for on call.
You have a sock on the needles, though, right?
But I don't know where it is.
Oh.
I mean, I could probably look for it.
Probably.
Could. But anyway, so that's basically the entirety of my crafting for the well, I got some spinning at Laura's, but nothing.
I brought something over, right?
Yeah, but yeah, you go.
Okay, I am still working on my sweater, so I am about 14 inches past the armholes, perhaps, and then it gets this eyelet again at the bottom. So, and that's 3 inches. So I need to get like another inch, and then I will be done with this, and then onto the eyelet section, and then done with the body. I'm kind of hoping, and then I have a 2-inch band to do on the front, at least, and then the sleeves. So I think it could be doable for this weekend. We'll see how it goes. Tomorrow I can't knit at all, and we can't hang out tomorrow night. Sorry.
Yeah. My band.
Well, we can afterwards. I've got the 8th grade formal. where they get all dressed up.
Oh.
And it's super cute, so I'm gonna go to that. I dress up, but that's not happening this year. They'll be lucky if I'm out of yoga pants at the rate I'm going. So this is the Passing Shower sweater by Elizabeth Smith. It is in the Skies of November colorway of Plucky Sweater, and I have one full skein left. And that is it. After I finish the two that I have, I'm alternating skeins. So I have this much left of two. And then, just the one skein left probably to do the sleeves.
Or something?
The sleeves. Because I think I can get the rest of the body definitely done out of these two. And maybe the band. We'll see. This bag's just collecting nonsense in it. I had it over by my spinning stuff and I knocked stuff down, and so I have like Into the World samples and all sorts of stuff. So that's what's on the needles, and that's on size 5s of my Licca needle set, the interchangeables. So we'll see. There's a possibility of that getting done, and it's hanging out in one of my Amy Beth Fat Squirrel bags. And then the other thing that I got done on the plane ride home are my Rose City rollers, and I grabbed another skein to get started on the next pair. These are, I almost put these on today at work because they were in my bag and I needed socks.
Do you often find yourself needing socks at work?
Well, I don't, but I was wearing compression socks, and I wanted to switch to regular socks, but I held off. I had wrapped my ankle with,
like kinesthetic tape?
Yeah, and it had become like a hard lump underneath my socks. God. And so I was trying to fix that. My body has decided it does not like state testing at all.
Well, I don't think anybody's body likes walking in a circle on concrete for hours and hours and days.
I mean, it is what it is. So these are Rose City rollers, and our good friend Amy Florence is actually doing a knit along with this pattern. I knit these out of Knit Picks in the Madrigal colorway, I believe. And then the next pair I'm going to knit in the Dark Side colorway, which is blacks and rainbows. So those are going on the needles next. I cut the yarn so that it was at the start of because there was just like a smidge of green, like 7 inches of green, and then it went into yellow. So I just cut out the green so that I'm ready to start, but then I never actually cast on. I'm trying to decide if I want to do these ones toe up or top down. I kind of prefer toe up for most of my socks, but yeah. So wee little socks, wee little summer socks. I feel like the gusset on these was forever.
It is a long gusset.
But that's because my heel flap's a little bit longer, I think, than the average person. Mine's like 2.5 inches.
Yeah, mine's usually 2 1/4, but...
So...
Is it a sport weight or a fingering weight?
Fingering weight. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've knit top down, gusset, heel flap, socks. But yeah.
They look good.
So those are going in the summer sock drawer. The other socks are getting put up for the season because we're in the 80s to 90s now.
Yeah.
So weather-wise, we were ready to roll for summer. I do have some spinning. I finished 2 of the patchwork kits by Hello Yarn, like 2 segments. They're around 3.3 ounces each. This one's had its bath, and it is...
I like the
chain
pop of
ply.
gold in that one.
Yeah. The other one's got gold in it too, I feel like. Some of these are definitely silk. Some of them are not. And it's 240 yards. And then the next one is 300 yards. I just wound it off, so it's not had its bath. Again, some golds. This one's a little bit skinnier, I feel like.
Yeah, it looks a little... I mean, it hasn't plumped from a bath yet.
Yeah.
But it does look a little skinnier. That's not a bad thing, necessarily.
No. Well, the yardage would suggest that it's skinnier, too. 300 yards instead of 240.
Hmm.
From about the same, I think. I haven't weighed this one. But it's definitely 300 yards. So, we'll see. I might do, Adrian of Hello Yarn's been doing the Stephen West shawl that, like, it's that giant crescent that kind of stripes.
The dotted rays?
Yes. So I might do that out of
That would be pretty.
a bunch of these when I get them spun. So yeah, that is about it. Next on my needles, I'm going to start a sweater out of this gorgeous bright pink.
It is beautiful.
From Loop Fiber Company. Fiber Studio, I'm sorry.
The Steph, who's famous for the bats.
The bumps of fiber, yeah, that self-stripe. I got one of those too. And she does these yin-yangs. So pink is the main color of this one, and it's got a gray, and then the opposite of it is a gray with the pink. But I want it bright pink, and I think I'm going to do a flex light. I think that's what I'm pretty much decided on. I want like a nice multi-purpose.
Is it a pullover, or is
It's
that
a
the
pullover.
cardigan? Okay.
Yep.
Harvest is the cardigan.
Yes, and that one's out of worsted weight. They've only done flex and the light.
Okay.
Which, I mean, but they came out with a new pattern collection this week, and it's got like a lace detail up here. It's really, really pretty. That one's a fingering weight held with like mohair.
I've seen a lot of designers doing that lately.
Yeah. I'm glad Silk and Mohair, Neighborhood Fiber Company in their booth had gorgeous silk mohair. But I resisted that. I didn't resist a whole lot at Maryland, but I did resist that. Actually, I was
It's hard
pretty good
at an event like that where there's so much ooh shiny happening.
And there's a lot of vendors that I don't see other places.
Yeah.
Like, we never see Steph anywhere else, for the most. She does do other shows, but, like,
Just not
I
in
don't
our-
go to Rhinebeck. Yeah, we don't see Chris of Into the World. It was Hobbledehoy's last show ever.
Yeah.
And Marigold Jen's as well, for the most part. She's doing Shenandoah, but she's taking a step back as well to spend more time with the grandkids. And also Neighborhood, I don't see in person a whole lot, so her booth was super popular. Yeah, you're gonna seam now. Are you seaming with the yarn that you're using? Okay. So lots
I've got
of
enough
good
from like
stuff.
cast on
Oh, gotcha.
ends that I can just use. So.
And it was a nice event. Maryland's always a nice event. There was a lot of rain on Sunday, but besides that, I got to see lots of friends and meet
She
viewers.
wore a new sweater.
I wore 2 sweaters. It was that cool.
Oh.
I wore the sweater that you gave me, which I got tons of compliments on.
Pavement
On Saturday, which was a little bit warmer, but that's... Oh, crap. That's more of a warm weather because it's got shorter sleeves. It's got like a 3/4 sleeve to it, and got lots and lots of compliments on that. And then on Sunday, I wore my curtain call to show Babs. So I got to show Babs because it was out of her yarn. I didn't get anything from Babs this time, but mainly because I'll see her at SSK.
Yeah, that's true.
And her show colorway was sold
United?
out. Nope, she is not. She didn't. I think a lot of people didn't know about that show. Like Nitty and Color and Gail's Art didn't know about that. I hung out with Gail quite a bit. We talked about books because we have very similar taste in books. And she and Nitty and Color, there's actually going to be an event at Eat Sleep Knit Thursday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be while you're in classes. And I was talking to Sarah of Nitty and Color. I got some fiber from her. I love her fiber and I love her yarn. And her husband still had spindles, which shocked me because his spindles are gorgeous. And I was shocked that they didn't sell out. Usually they sell out really, really quickly. So they're going to be at Eat Sleep Knit Thursday afternoon.
Of Stitches United.
Of Stitches United.
So the Thursday after Memorial Day.
Yeah. Which hopefully we'll see some of you at Stitches United. We need to make hotel plans for that. Or Airbnb. Whichever.
Yeah.
If we find an Airbnb that takes puppies, we could bring Pearl. But that's a long trip for her to hang out in a hotel, though, too. or a house. Anyway.
So, are you going to go to the thing on Thursday?
Well, I don't think so. Oh, anyway, Knitting in Color. So I was talking to her about it, and she said it's quite a ways away from the venue, like 45 minutes. It wouldn't be, like, Uberish.
Yeah.
You'd have to drive, and you'll be in class. So I'm going to see if a vendor wants to, while they're setting up, if I can help / hang out with them that Thursday. Because they'll be setting up for market that afternoon.
It'll give you something to do.
Yeah. It'll give me some people to talk to. Or I'll find an audio book, which I have lots of, and sit and listen to that and knit and chill while I wait for your class to end. Because I have a morning class.
I'm taking an all-day class with Cal Patch on creating muslins and adjusting patterns to fit you. So I'm excited about that.
And I'm taking a climbing intarsia type class with Lorelei Beltman, which should be interesting for sure.
Something that you don't have a ton of experience in. So.
No, definitely. So reading, I've read 2 books by Benedict Franklin, which is, do you know my person who writes like the Magical Koi book and the Llama Shapeshifter book and that? Well, she's got like 3 other pen names she writes under.
Oh, okay.
And this is these are all male, female, like lawyer, law assistant series with
like
shenanigans.
Set in the real world.
Yeah. The Shammed is about like playing pranks on people, and Claustrophobic is like around. They're both holiday based. One's St. Patrick's, one's Christmas. And they're male-female romances. And then I read American Witch by Thea Harrison, which is the new in her Elder Races.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how that was.
It's a new trilogy that's kind of, it's the most human. It was good.
Okay. Because I think I had pre-ordered it, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet. It just came out
I like
last
her
week,
stuff.
So.
And the Patricia Briggs just came out on Tuesday, but I haven't touched it yet.
Yeah. I don't love her as much as you do. I mean, I like her fine, but she's not the first one I go to. I'm rereading a series called Born in Fire by K.F. Breen, because the 4th and 5th book, I think, are out now, and it's been a while since I've read the first 3.
Oh, I didn't realize that they came out. Cool.
So, I'm rereading that one. I am also reading a book called The Gargoyle, which was recommended to me by Ashley, that Ash girl on Ravelry, and it's about a guy who gets into an accident and suffers very serious burns, and while he's in the hospital recuperating, he is visited by this crazy person who insists that she's known him for hundreds of years through many lives, and it's very confusing at the moment, but I'm giving it a try. I'm still listening to This Will Be My Undoing by Morgan Jenkins, and I'm also listening to Heavy by Kiese Lamon, and that's about a black man growing up in Mississippi and how all of these factors around race affected him his entire life growing up.
So that book is Heavy, because you mentioned 2 books.
Yes,
okay.
Heavy by Kiese Lamon is the one I'm talking about. It's hard to listen to, but in a way, I mean, it still needs to be heard. So, I'm about halfway through that one, and I listened to one called Dispatcher by John Scalzi, which was a shorty. It was one of if you're an Audible member, you get 2 free
Audible originals.
Yes. Every month they come up with 6 new they're not always new, Audible originals every month, and sometimes I can't find a single thing that interests me. One month there were like 2 kids books, and then 3 biographies, and one that was about science, and none of those really called to me. But this one was, it's by John Scalzi, so it was sort of sci-fi-ish.
The new one has Nick Offerman.
Yeah, I
That's
got that one.
That's did.
But it was read by, what's his face, Zachary Quinto. The Dispatcher, not the Nick Offerman one. But it was good. It was only like 2.5 hours, but it was good. And the only other thing book-wise is one of my favorite, I guess, fantasy books is called The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And it came out years back, 5, 7, 10 years ago, maybe. I can't remember for sure. But I've read it several times and listened to it at least twice as well. And it's, I don't know why, I just love it so much. And it's about these two magicians who, one is sort of by the books. He follows a procedure to create the magic that he uses, and the other one is very, like, instinctual.
Mm-hmm.
And they each raise a mentee, a protege, and they sort of put the proteges against each other without them ever even knowing it. And it's a really detailed, lovely story, and I love it so much that it was the only book she's ever written.
Mm-hmm.
And I follow her on Amazon, so I got a notice that she was publishing a new book in November, and I pre-ordered it without reading anything about it, because I don't care. I'll buy it. And it's called The Starless Sea. But it doesn't come out until November. So, anyway, if you loved The Night Circus, that's one to at least, watch. Do you want to talk about Marilyn Sheep'n'Wool?
I kind of did already.
Okay.
I went Saturday and Sunday and hung out with my friend Jessica, Show Me Your Knits, and our friend Jane, who we stay with when we go, who's a lovely, lovely person.
She is.
And Saturday, Jillian Marino joined us, and Jillian's never been to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and she was teaching this year,
That
so we got to
shocks me.
hang out and do all the shopping and share ribbon chips and just play around. And it was really nice weather Saturday. It was like cloudy and not too hot. It was like 70 degrees, and got to meet lots and see lots and lots of people, which was really, really nice. And got lots of shopping done, and sat in the show ring and watched the kids show we saw them show the Jacobs, and we saw the Ram showing for the most part for Jacobs and some other stuff, which is always fun.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts, and plus you get to sit then.
Yeah.
And it's inside, which is nice. It's not air conditioned, but it's at least inside and kind of out of the sun. And Sunday we went back, and it was super rainy, and went to Kimber's lecture. Kimber had a lecture on science and fiber, which is really, really
Kimber
interesting.
of Fiber Optic.
Yeah, and one of the things, tying this into Clothing Conservation Month, that she talked about is wool and what it needs acidity-wise. And so wool really likes a more acid environment, and that's why acid dyes work well with wool. And
sweat is okay for wool.
And sweat is okay for wool because it's more acidic. And when you wash your wool garments, she recommends for every gallon of water, and she's giving out washing instructions now with all her purchases. A tablespoon of vinegar, or a teaspoon of citric acid, I think. I'll have to look at the directions again, so don't quote me on that. With all her washing, because wool itself likes that, but it also helps the acid dyes remain bonded versus a base. But on the opposite flip side of that, anything that's like linen or cotton, acid,
cellulose fiber.
Yeah, acid just kind of eats right through. So it's the opposite, those like more base environments. So if you're wearing a more linen garment, you should kind of wash it, especially after you sweat in it. And you should never try to set dye with acid on those type things,
like with a citric acid.
Over time that'll
break down the fiber.
So I thought that was really, really interesting.
I sound like I know stuff, but she told me this right before we recorded.
And one of the interesting things is she had in colonial America, they didn't have enough wool coming in because it was taxed through British taxation. And so they started doing like quilts that were like linen on one side, or blankets that were linen on one side and wool on the other, and you had to kind of pick which you treated to make sure it would last longer. Because in that society, it's not like a fast fashion society, so what you would make would have to last years.
Or generations.
So she actually had like a colonial American blanket that was wool on one side and the linen on the other, and you could see how the wool had just kind of gotten eaten away by the washing, but the linen was still strong, because it likes that base from soap. So that was really interesting. But she's also talking about how, like, if you buy wool linen blends or wool cotton blends, how they're probably not going to last as long. It's not going to be something that you can pass down,
because they prefer one or the other versus both,
and you'll have to just select versus on how much.
Did she talk at all about, I've heard people over the years say, you know, well, if I use soak, my colors bleed, but other people don't.
So
soak being a name brand product that you use when you're washing your fine garments.
So she talked about detergent in general, and she said really there's no reason to use detergent unless you get a stain or something else. You should just wash things in warm water with vinegar if it's a wool, or soap is fine because it's a base. It creates more base if you're doing
linen or
cotton. But she was talking about how we overuse detergent. One thing that she did that was interesting is at the beginning of her talk, she had skeins of red yarn, and she had different alkaline levels in water, like giant Tupperwares. And so she put like one skein per bin, and we could see how it lost color, just with the only difference being the acidity or base of your water.
Wow.
So that was like over the hour lecture, like how much it lost. But also, you're not like, I'm terrible about leaving my socks overnight in
You
water.
are. She left
I totally
for
did
a
because
trip,
I forgot.
and there were still socks soaking in her. She has a place permanently in her kitchen where she soaks items. Like hand socks.
wash.
And so I just, you know,
I meant to text you and be like, hey, can you throw
I
those?
basically live there, so that same night I you know, spun them out and then laid them over a chair to dry.
But like that's really bad for like wool if you're leaving it in a soap or detergent.
So is there
overnight.
A resource that she indicated people could go to look at this information?
So she's got an article that was published in Spinoff a couple years ago.
Okay.
Or a year ago. I think it was around a year ago.
Yeah, I think so too.
That she's doing a scientific study right now over the summer about different wool washes and how they affect water. And some wool washes, I guess, have something in them that, like, even if you add vinegar, it kind of keeps the vinegar from making it acidic. So I guess there's a technical term for that. I don't know what it is, but she's doing a study over the summer. Bijou Basin's going out of business. So Allure, I don't know if they're going to sell that off. Allure is another type of wool wash that we like. So I don't know if they're going out of business because they're retiring. Which more power to them. They're closing
the business,
and they're going to like 2 more shows. I think Estes is one of them, and that's it. So I might have, their booth was really busy at Maryland. I might have Jess pick up some Allure for me.
So I'll look for a link to that article. I don't know whether it'll be available on their site, but if it's not, then I'll link to the issue it was in.
Yeah, and I'll ask for permission to put up her washing instructions. I talked to her about getting them for our SSK goodie bag. Like a card to throw in, because I think it's valuable information.
So
and you can just go up to, you don't have to buy anything from them. If you see them at a show, you can just go ask for their washing instructions.
I would never have thought. I mean, it makes sense to me because one is an animal fiber and others are plant-based fibers or man-made in some case fibers. But I mean, it makes sense to me that they prefer different acidity or base in their washes, but I wouldn't have thought that before.
Yeah, so. It was really, really, I mean, I paid $5 to get in, and it was well worth it, and then I went and bought a skein of yarn from her, because I was like, this was so much good information that's going to save my stuff in the long run, that I wanted to support her in another way.
So the only other thing is there is a shop in Memphis, which we live close to. We're right at the
Oh, what
state
you're
line.
doing this weekend?
Mm-hmm. It's called 5-in-1 Social Club. I've never been before, but another lady in our knit group, Holly, has. And they do all sorts of different classes. They do some sort of beginning wire molding. They do different dye techniques. They do candle making. They do some beginner metal smithing and stamping. They do a lot of like intros into different types of crafts.
Yeah.
And this weekend they're doing batik silk scarves with like wax and resist dyeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not done that before, so I wanted to try. And Eloise is going to go.
Yeah.
And Erica, a friend of ours,
Oh, cool.
is also she's going to meet us there. It's on Mother's Day, actually, on Sunday.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking, so that new yarn shop just opened down there, too. Well, it moved and reopened. It's Yarniverse,
Yeah.
but they'll be closed Sunday.
Oh, well, I left enough time for us to all eat lunch, and then the classes in the afternoon, so...
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hang at home.
That's fine.
I don't think I'm
I
gonna
have
go
other
and
friends.
sit and watch. I know you do. That's why I feel confident with you hanging out with those other friends while I go to like Costco and get my errands done for the week.
So anyway, that'll be fun and
Yeah.
something to talk about next week.
I can't wait to see what
as
you
well.
do, though. All of you. You'll have to take lots of pictures.
Well, I'll be dying, so probably not. But I can take pictures after.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Or you
So.
can get someone else to take pictures.
Well, they'll probably all be dying.
Even like instructors?
I don't know. I don't want to be a jerk and be like, stop teaching and
and
take a picture.
There might be someone there.
But anyway, yeah, so hopefully I'll have Sakasama done next week as well, since
You totally will.
there's only like...
Wouldn't it be great if we had both our big sweaters done next week?
That would be nice.
It'd be super nice.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome.
So you guys have a rock star weekend. Awesome. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.